Hey guys, this is Jamie. So today we're gonna be doing an experiment where my dog will try to be in the room with me. I don't think it's gonna work, but let's hope. So today I wanted to talk about non-binary people and specifically the discrimination and the fact that I feel like the trans man binary community and in general binary communities in trans people or with trans people tend to be very hostile towards non-binary people. I feel like there's a lot of hate coming, and it can be reflected through transition, through microaggressions, through endophobia, and etc. But I want to say that the way, I guess, people paint non-binary people is also very bizarre, because obviously you can have outspoken non-binary people, but there's also stealth non-binary people and non-binary people which want nothing to do with the pride events, which don't want to factually people to know anything, and they want to remain in the closet because how to put this, the world isn't nice to trans people, and then on top of that you have trans binary people who are even sometimes even bigger of an asshole than anyone else. And there's also this sort of privilege Olympics or whatever, where people say, oh, non-binary people have it easier, they don't need access to medicine and HRT and etc. But that is also not true. And specifically, I have quite a few, an arsenal. I have quite a few non-binary friends, and my experience going through the health system has been way easier than what they have been describing. And then, for instance, there's such things as gynecologist issues, where you can be gate kept because you're a trans man, and they might see that, like, for instance, oh, you need to save your eggs or whatever. So try to imagine when it's with a non-binary person, for instance, where it's not as rigid, people don't understand the concept of non-binary in general, and then they might not understand. And also because it's already quite a spectrum of, like, what do trans men need. Some trans men might want to have a pregnancy, some might want to freeze their eggs, some might want a full hysterectomy, which was like in my case, for instance. So do non-binary people who need to see a gynecologist for whatever reason. So then they get that, and then there's like non-binary expression, which can be absolutely different. And some people can say, oh, this non-binary expression is not valid, you need to be dressed in a beard with a dress, or and etc. And in my experience, obviously, non-binary people have a variety of expressions. There's a variety of genders. There's obviously a lot of genders under the non-binary umbrella. There's a trans femme, trans masc, there's people in the middle, people outside. And people don't seem to grasp that. And then, so we have the transitioning non-binary people, the non-transitioning non-binary people. And just to also speak on the mere fact that obviously there are studies with HRT which date way back when it comes to trans people, and they are mostly documented for having T and or HRT for an extended period of time, and those are the studies, and those studies are done on binary mostly people. Well, there. So if to think that we have enough, obviously, to say that HRT is safe for trans people, but for instance, again, I might be wrong, but if a non-binary person wants to go on T or some other hormone, then they might, if they want to stop, or there's certain stopping points, um, that also needs to be monitored by a doctor, and it has to be by a doctor who understands the situation. So if we already have doctors who might not understand what a non-binary person is, how are they supposed to monitor the transition? And this is not, and non-binary people have this word just as normally as binary trans people do. It's just that for society, it's easier to understand that there's men and women because that's what they're taught. That's what they were taught for many years. And trans people have been raised in history, so have non-binary. And in general, binary trans people sort of try to kick non-binary people off the ship in a way to sort of appear more normal. Say, hey, you know what, the non-binary freak, they're bad, but me, I'm totally normal. And the same happens with like monogamous gay people, monogamous lesbians, and there are many things that make us very different. But people try to sort of normalize us or fit us into this het whatever normative nuclear family box atrocity in order for us to be accepted. But in reality, being different is okay, and we shouldn't be striving to be a certain normal. And at the same time, because of this, when you enter, for instance, a space which is dominant with, let's say, non-binary people with a certain expression, or like you see it very often in LGBT groups, sort of a hostility towards binary trans men. Then you have, obviously, because trans men are being assholes to non-binary people, you have non-binary people being assholes to trans men who are binary. So it gets pretty ugly pretty fast. So you have non-binary people saying, hey, you need to like not follow toxic masculinity or whatever. And you also have that like from cis gays, and I've spoken enough about gay men sort of trying to say that something very masc is bad while having a rock hard boner for it. So it's like, go figure. So there's a lot of sort of things that are mismatched. There's a lot of hypocrisy, and I just don't understand that people just want to be left alone. They want to be accepted, but the way to be accepted isn't by throwing other people off the bus. I mean, we have a bunch of examples. Like the AIDS epidemic, where Ronald Reagan's had a close friend who was gay and he was supporting him. And once the gay friend got AIDS, Ronald Reagan didn't give a shit and the friend died of AIDS and etc. Then you have stuff like, I don't know, like Hitler and the Night of the Long Knives. So yeah, with everyone who was gay murdered in that night. I forgot surnames right now. So the moral of the story is, when you're siding with the bad people, they're not gonna spare you just because you're on their side and when they're against you. In general, it's like LGBT without the T. It's like TERFs as well, which are siding with Tories in the UK. There's a bunch of contradictions and people don't understand that. And people come with so much hate because they can't vent their anger So they aim it at someone else. So because they are getting bullied for something, they vent it onto others, or because they have hate themselves, which is unresolved, they point it at others, and it ends up being this very vicious cycle. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And what I wanted to focus on and say was that we do need to have, obviously, a more clear understanding of the non-binary people and their needs. Understand that it's way more varied and than trans needs, trans-binary needs, I mean. And yeah, and I hope things do get better. And I understand that in general trans rights are attacked everywhere, but this is still an issue. Non-binary people are trans people, and they also deserve to be heard. I understand that I am binary and I'm speaking on behalf of other people, but I do feel like it's a subject that I know because I have a lot of close non-binary people to me. And again, I'm not the best one to educate on this. I am merely saying that I wish non-binary people were more understood by binary, and I'm really tired of this narrative of both communities fighting when we're the same community. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please feel free to subscribe. Please feel free to share it. That makes my day. Feel free to leave a comment. And thank you very much.